Hey guys, what's up? Destiny Gold back, bringing you guys a list of the top 10 Crucible weapons that Destiny Gold team uses. These are the weapons that we think perform best in Crucible, so you should have them on your roster if you're heading into PvP. These are the weapons that have served us the best on the battlefield with the rest of the Guardians. So, in 10th place, we have Murmur. It's an amazing fusion rifle. You can swap it between arc and solar damage, as a lot of you guys know, and change the stats mid-game without sacrificing any of your ammo. Not to mention, if you're using the solar variant of it, which is typically our favorite, it has really good range and impact. You're more likely to be guaranteed that kill in Crucible if you're using solar damage. However, if you're not quite as confident with your aim, maybe use arc damage so that you can get those shots off faster, although you have to be a little bit closer to them and get more of those shots to hit in order to get the kill. So it's a trade-off. In 9th place, we have Suros Regime and Red Death for the sole purpose that it regenerates your health. It has nothing to do with actually how the weapons perform, but it's the fact that if you can get off enough shots before the other person, whether they're shooting back at you or not, then you can regenerate your health and you will win the subsequent fights. This is really, really useful when taking on multiple enemies at once. Focus on one at a time and you'll be regenerating your health while they're still shooting at you, and that's really, really helpful. In 8th place, we have Patience and Time. This is one of my personal favorites. It's a very low recoil sniper with the really cool perk of invisibility. Not to mention, it has Third Eye, which allows you to see your radar even while in scope. This is incredibly important in Crucible because you have smaller maps and players can catch up on you and get behind you very, very quickly if you're not careful while you're using a sniper, especially while you're camping. I'm one of those noobs that likes to camp, so guess what? This is very useful for me. In 7th place, we have a shotgun called the Fourth Horseman. Not many people know about this shotgun because it's a very, very rare drop right up there with Hawkmoon and some of the other weapons that are harder to get, the exotics. It has a very fast fire rate and incredibly high impact. However, the range is the smallest in the game for a shotgun. However, in Crucible, considering most of your encounters are very close to each other, especially if you're not using a sniper, this weapon actually comes in a lot more handy than you might imagine. If you also increase the stability on it to be higher, it makes this weapon even more usable. You don't really need to worry about the range so much in Crucible, because at the rate you would be using a shotgun anyway, the range you would be using a shotgun, this one's already going to get the kill for you, and the scope is really useful because it doesn't block much of the screen. In 6th place, we have another shotgun. This is the Crota's End Raid shotgun called Swordbreaker. It has incredibly high impact and is very often a one-shot kill if you're close enough and get enough of the pellets to hit. It has lots of ammo and a very good reload speed. It even has perks that increase the reload speed after some certain things are fulfilled. I forget if it's a kill or if it's a reload something, I'm not sure, but it does give you a perk so you can reload even faster. But the base reload is really good and allows you to get more kills quickly. Not to mention with a magazine of 6, it's basically a bullet hose shotgun for, kills. In 5th place, we have Fatebringer, the very famous hand cannon from the first raid on Venus. It has explosive damage, which is really nice, so when you hit someone, you're not only doing the damage from the shot itself, but also explosive damage, and if you miss the shot, even by a little bit, you're still going to get some explosive damage on them. It's a very forgiving weapon that way, so you can be a little bit off and still do damage to them. Not to mention, it has a very high magazine size of 12, and if you decide to not use the explosive round perk, you can use the Field Scout perk, increase that to 13, and give you a lot of extra spare ammo. In 4th place, we have Jolder's Hammer and Against All Odds. They perform pretty much the same way. Jolder's Hammer is from Iron Banner. Against All Odds, I believe, is from Crucible. They're both very high damage machine guns. They perform very, very well. I really love the way that they have lower recoil. Even though they say they have high recoil, they have a low enough fire rate with high enough damage that you can get those shots off and consecutively get every shot to hit. I like the way they perform in Crucible a lot better than PvE. In my opinion, they're some of my favorites. In 3rd place, we have a very tactical weapon, also one of my favorites, called Thorn. This is a hand cannon. It's an exotic that you get from, I believe it's a Light in the Darkness is the exotic bounty for it. It does lingering damage. This prevents shield regeneration, and that's incredibly helpful if they don't have one of those Suros or Red Death weapons, which isn't actually as common in PvP as a lot of people would think. Thorn is a very useful weapon. They can't regenerate their shield while they're continuing to take damage. This is very similar to the Hunter's throwing knives if you put burn damage on. One of my personal favorite setups is to use Thorn with the throwing knives that have burn damage with 2 throwing knives on my Hunter Gunslinger. Really, really awesome setup. It keeps them from regenerating their shield and allows you to get close to them fast enough without having to continue shooting at them so that you can get a melee on them and get that last shot. Very useful weapon, especially in tangent with the Hunter's abilities. In 2nd place, we have Plan C. This is an incredibly high damage fusion rifle. In fact, I actually recommend not using the scope unless you're at close range to make sure all those shots hit. I think this is actually a really amazing fusion rifle even at longer ranges if you keep it out of scope so that they stay relatively circular as to where the shots are going. It has a very fast reload and can tend to be a one-shot kill at even up to medium ranges, and it will do a lot of damage even at longer ranges if you're very careful with your aim. In first place, we have the Vex Mythic class. This is one of my all-time favorite weapons for this, although I have to say T-Spice loves this weapon a lot more than I do. The Vex Mythic class has incredibly high damage and low recoil. This is the weapon awarded to you for beating Atheon in the Vault of Glass on hard mode. It is a very rare drop, but if you get your hands on it and you get it maxed out, this weapon with Zen Moment and a lot of the other perks that allow it to decrease recoil, in tangent with its very high damage, gives you a lot of kills in Crucible. On top of that, being a fusion rifle, it's easier to use outside of scope if you're very careful with it. However, it does have a really interesting scope that makes it usable even at longer ranges, which most fusion rifles are not very good for. Overall, I love every weapon on this list, and all of them should find a place within your roster somewhere. I highly suggest getting a few of these weapons before heading on into PvP with Crucible or Iron Banner. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Put a list of your favorite weapons in the comment section below. We'd all love to hear what everyone thinks. What serves you best in PvP in Crucible against your fellow Guardians. Thank you for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Destiny Gold, out.